Hey everyone, welcome back from the Christmas and holiday break. I hope those of you who got some downtime were able to reflect and think about what worked last year and what you're going to continue and smash out in 2025. So before the break, we were going through the step-by-step process to help you to create a point of difference for your small business and ultimately create a marketing plan to give you the structure and strategy required to help you achieve some business goals heading into 2025. So we're going to kick off and continue that step. And today we're going through step 5, and I'm going to reference my book here, Small Business Marketing Decluttered. Step 5, we're going to talk about your existing, we're going to talk about your target audience and why that's so important. Now, when we talk about target audience, it kind of seems really obvious, but you would be surprised, you'd be blown away about how many big and small businesses get this wrong. Quite often, and let's talk specifically for small business owners because that's who's listening to this, we don't care about big business. For you as small business owners, it's easy to want to target everybody because I get it. You want to be able to get every dollar that's available to you and drive that revenue and ultimately drive that profit. But the key is that as a small business owner, and you would be aware of this, you have 4 key limited resources, and we bang on about this all the time: time, money, energy, and skills. So you want to make sure that you are utilizing those 4 resources as best as possible and make sure that you're getting the most out of them. So we don't want wastage in any of those 4, which ultimately leads to wastage in your marketing. Marketing time, money, energy, or skills that you spend on it. So by being really specific and thinking about we're going to talk about 5 topics in regards to your audience. In regards to these 5 topics, we're going to talk about why that's so important and how to get the best out of your marketing and those 4 key resources. So, and I'm going to keep referencing and looking down at my book. So the first thing I want to talk about in terms of target audience is to really make sure that if you know who your target audience is, every bit of communication will be tailored to that audience. People want to know that you are talking to them and that there's a needs match. So what do I mean by that? If someone goes to, let's use our website as an example. If someone goes to our website, if they are a small business, they know straight away that we solely and wholly help small businesses only. There is absolute no confusion, and we are super explicit, as we are in these podcasts and all of our videos and books and everything. We are super explicit that our sole focus is to help small businesses with their marketing. So they know straight away. There is no grey. And for that reason, we make sure that our time, money, energy, and skills on marketing is fulfilled and there is the least amount of wastage possible. And because you know specifically who your audience is and that you're going to be explicit about that, there's a couple of things that you can then start to really think about. So where does your audience consume its information? Are they online? Are they on YouTube? Are they on Spotify? Do they check their letterbox? What element are they consuming? Who are they influenced by? That influence part is key because a lot of people are followers, let's be honest. So they are influenced by people, their spouse, their partner, their kids, their grandparents, their accountant, their lawyer. So who are they influenced by and whose advice do they take? And you want to make sure that that look, feel, and message, and we talk about consistency all the time, that look and feel and message is consistent across all your marketing touch points so that wherever people see or hear you, they know exactly what you do and who you do it for, and again, that there's a needs match for that particular audience. The number 2 consideration I want you to think about is, so if you're an existing business, is your existing audience necessarily your ideal target audience? You might have started out in an industry, started to target a particular industry. Let's pretend you're an electrician and you started to target homeowners and you started to work on them, fixing their, light bulbs and PowerPoints. And then you realize after a year, you know what? The margins are shit in this job. I feel like I'm driving around constantly giving quotes. I hate this. I want to target a different type of clientele. So you need to spend the time and think about, is your existing audience your ideal target audience? Who is the most profitable? Who is going to be the easiest to tap into? who's going to be the easiest to communicate to, who pays you more, who pays you on time. There's lots of things for you to consider. And is there a part of an audience that maybe your competition hasn't tapped into like you can tap into? And it might be that they target, so let's use the electrician as an example. There might be electricians out there that target, commercial buildings, strata buildings, homeowners. You might say, you know what, I want to focus in on one. And we talk about focus and positioning a lot in all of our marketing. So you want to make sure that you try to find that opportunity where you can target a particular audience and be the expert with that audience. So that, again, when you communicate to them, they know solely and wholly who you target. So based on that second point, let's go to the third consideration, is that if you do solely and wholly focus on a particular audience that is different to the competition, then that allows you to then stand out and be different to everybody else. Like the electrician example that I gave you, there would be a lot of electricians that would try to target everybody. That's just the nature of business owners. But if you really focus in on a particular audience, so let's pretend you're focusing on industrial units or strata units, you're focusing on that, and you might go one step further. We talk about differentiating from a location perspective. You might want to target a particular region within the city that you're in and be the strata expert in a particular region. So you're even more targeted with your expertise. And so then people know, right, this guy or this girl is an expert in what they do and where they do it. So then you become known as the expert for what you do and where you do it. So let's play this out in a real example. So imagine there's your competitor's website. People go to his website, you're the electrician, and they go to his website and he says, I do everything. You go to his services drop down, on the banner it just says, your electrician or your, electrician for all. And then on his services, he's got, residential, strata, commercial, industrial, like freaking does everything. And then we go to your website and it says, the strata industry's trusted electrician, or the Sutherland Shire, so that's a region in Sydney, the Sutherland Shire's strata focused electrician. Now again, it's a bit long-winded, but you get the gist. You're really being explicit on that banner about who you do and where you do it, and then in the drop down, the services are really simple and the strata industry can relate because you're communicating to them based on their language and their vernacular, and you really tailored all your communication to them. So really knowing that target audience and being explicit to them is really key. So further to that, let's go to step 4. So put yourself in your customers and clients' shoes. That industry vernacular, you want to make sure that you're using language that they specifically understand. So do some research. If you're in that industry, you would know what the language of the vernacular is. So use the language that your audience will understand. Don't try to overcomplicate shit. I see that all the time. Just be really obvious to your target audience. You use language that they will understand. So again, they go there, they say, hey, this guy understands me. It's a needs match for my business or whatever I'm looking for. And you know what? I'm going to call this guy or girl. So again, use the vernacular that they will understand. And the only way you can do that is to put yourself in their shoes, be really objective about the communication that you use. Sit back, think about it, put yourself in their shoes. Maybe ask a close friend that's going to be objective as well, that kind of understands your industry, to make sure that what you're saying and communicating makes sense to your audience. Best of all, use maybe a particular someone from your target audience and say, look, does this make sense? Don't try to get them giving all feedback. Just go, do you understand this language that I'm trying to use? And consideration 5 when it comes to your target audience. So because you're really communicating on a particular audience and you become the expert and being known for that, and that's all you're thinking about, it actually allows you to then think about, how can I innovate this part of my target audience? What can I offer them that they will need? Because you target on an audience and because you know them so well, you're going to be so engulfed in their industry. It's going to allow you to think about and know them really well, and there will be opportunities for you to innovate in that industry and be smart about how you can best help them And by doing that, you can then charge more because you're the expert. Your competitors aren't thinking about that particular industry all the time, but you are. You're innovative. You're offering unique services and products. You are then allowed to then charge more because you're the expert, have confidence in what you do, and really positioning yourself as an innovator and a leader in that particular sector. So you can see so if we look at the target audience, people go, target audience, that's really simple. But what I've just showed you is that by really focusing in on an audience has a domino effect in how you're communicating, how you're innovating, how you're positioning yourself, how your customers and clients are going to see you, and how you're going to really be an expert. And the biggest thing is be different to the competition and be an expert over the competition. So target audience, not as simple as you think, but simple to execute. Take the time, think about how you can be different, think about how you can communicate to a particular audience, think about how you can innovate. So I hope you got lots out of that target audience talk. As always, I'm sure you also know small business owners. Make sure you're sharing this, make sure you're subscribing, giving us a like, giving us a follow. We can see the numbers increasing, which is great, and across all of our platforms, which is fantastic. We're going to keep giving you content as often as possible. We'll continue with this series every week in terms of giving you a point of difference, but we're doing shorts daily on TikTok, on Insta, and on YouTube as well. So keep listening, and we'll chat to you soon.
Please note that all the information provided on this podcast is general in nature and is not intended to be specific advice to your individual situation. Please be sure to engage a professional for a customized approach to your business and personal circumstances.